Hi guys, it's Ani. Happy Friday. I hope your Friday is going well so far. And if not, here to change that. I intend that this video changes that. Um, Regardless of what you guys are going through right now, I want you to understand there's nothing that is final. The success stories today prove that. And to be honest, I'll just mention what the success story is. I'm not going to go into full detail yet. I rather my client write it in detail, and I'll share it with you in another video because I want them to share it in their words with their circumstances that they thought were circumstances, and their beliefs at the time and how it changed. But this video is going to be really more of me talking about how people conform because they are you pushed out. And I know this is a topic you probably hear a lot. I've talked about it a lot on this channel, but I always have like a download to explain it in a different way, or to it resonates with people. I get it all the time, like how they're like, Ani, last Friday's video, you said something in there that it made me just click. So I intend that's what happens in today's video, you guys. And always remember, like when I talk about a certain topic, for example, getting SP, getting money, getting luxuries, removing third party, whatever it is, it's all the same formula at the end of the day. It all comes down to you really creating a solid foundation internally first, so the external reflects it. It's always as within, so without. You know what I mean? It's always as within, so without. A lot of you forget that, and then someone like comes by and says what you were thinking, or someone shows you evidence of what you were looking for, and then all of a sudden you come back to remembering your power. I intend, you guys, that you remember how powerful you are all the time. If it's something you struggle with, you need to keep reminding yourself about it. On my journey, it took me a lot of reminding. You know what would happen on like my journey? I literally, and this happens to a lot of clients too, they tell me about it all the time. But I literally would get like a huge breakthrough, and then moments later, maybe like 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, of me just like milking this amazing moment of, oh my God, I just got a breakthrough. Oh my God, something just happened that proves to me that I'm this powerful. And because my old story was so dominant, some type of self-sabotaging thought would come up and be like, oh, but what if it was a coincidence? Oh, but what if this? Oh, but what if that? Oh, but what if they change their mind? Like everything would happen to kind of reel me back into that old version of myself and that old story. And I want you to know that is normal. I always say it in all my videos. That is very normal. So don't be scared when that happens on your manifesting journey. This happened to these two clients of mine that are now successes after a while of coaching with them. You guys, it's so funny. Both of them are around the same age, and they had the same fears of, what if they never get their SP? What if they never marry and have a partner that they always wanted? So they're going to have to maybe have a child alone, or raise a child alone, or maybe they'll never get to have a child because if there's nobody that they love, and you know, the time is ticking, what if they don't, right? And that comes up a lot, you know, timing and stuff like that. But I'm so happy to say, you guys, just this last week alone, so many successes from you guys that are coaching with me, that are course clients, that are even viewers just like you watching, and you guys send in your successes after applying the stuff in the videos. These two clients, you guys, both got their SPs, removed third parties, and now are pregnant. They're pregnant. I'm so excited and I'm so happy. Like when they told me, I was just like, I just felt like my family member is, they're my family member, or they're my sister. you know, like I felt like that. I felt like you guys are my family. Like literally, like your pain is my pain. Your happiness is my happiness. We just build a bond, and I love that you guys experience what you experience, that great breakthrough feeling finally, you know, like I live for that. And I was so happy when these clients told me this week, because there were third parties and they thought like this is never gonna happen. Like, first of all, there was a lot of no contact. There was a lot of the people living there, you know, living with the third parties, and they felt like a third party. Like they were the ones feeling like a third party because they weren't living with them. SP wasn't living with them. They didn't have a commitment yet. They didn't have like the talk about commitment yet. Like, but slowly but surely, as my client, one of them did the self-concept course, and she kept telling me, she's like, Ani, every time I would get a moment, like I would go back to your self-concept course. I would go back to your self-concept course, even when we had sessions in between sessions, when I needed a refresher, when that voice inside of me was getting to me and was like, you're never gonna get what you want. Like your person's not here by your side. Your person's probably with someone else in someone else's bed, and they're not gonna choose you. Things are, something extreme has to happen for them to choose you. She's like, every time that would happen, I would keep going back to that course, keep doing the homework, keep focusing on me is the point of it. I always say, you guys, you don't have to take courses, you don't have to take anything, like to each their own. But when in doubt, when you need that guided homework, that's what it's there for. That's why I made it like everyone learns differently, to each their own, but so many successes from it, which that was the intention. That literally was the intention of you guys applying the work and seeing results. But I'm just so happy because I lived through their doubts with them. And I kept telling them, you gotta go back internal. You gotta go back within. I know it feels like it's the other person's fault. I know it feels like there's so much resentment, especially when there's a third party, you guys, in a situation. I know there's resentment. I've lived through that. I know the resentment you can feel with that person. But you gotta understand one thing, and you gotta make this like your number one rule to live by, to remember. No matter what's happened, no matter how many third parties were in the picture, this person that's in your reality can only reflect your assumptions of who you are and who they are, and both of you in relation to each other. That person cannot take the lead, number one, unless you think they can. And then so it plays out that way. It looks like they're doing whatever they want to do, but it's because you kind of give them the power to do what they want to do. You think that way of them. It's, if whatever you guys give your energy and focus to, know that's going to double, triple, quadruple in your reality. And a lot of us are in the same cycle over and over again. Same cycle over and over again. It could be with the same person, you're in the same cycle for years. It could be with, you keep moving on to another person, but you keep finding yourself in the same situation. And just today, even in my life, like I'll give you evidence from, small evidence. It's not like what I just shared from those two clients, but for example, today I was looking at a social media post. It was a really cringe social media post. I'm not going to say who it was, what it was, whatever. No disrespect to anybody, but I felt it was like super cringe coming from a really lack place. And I kept thinking, like, I'm going to tell my SP about it. Like, I'm going to talk about it. Maybe I should mention it. Maybe I should tell him to watch it and then get, like, let's see if we're eye to eye on it. And I didn't. I got caught up with other stuff and I didn't. And then I see SP and we're talking and SP brings it up. Like, did you see that post of this person like talking about this stuff? Like, what the heck was that? And I was like, why, yes, I did. Yes, I did. And it never ceases to amaze me how other people reflect and hear you. They hear you. They conform to you. That's why, like, see, I didn't have to lift a finger, right? I thought about, oh, I should mention this to him. Or I just had a slight thought of like, let me talk to this person about this thing, right? And I got distracted and I forgot. That person came to me with that thing. That person came to me with that topic, with that story. They conform, you guys. And you know this. You know this. That's why you're watching this video. You know this because you've seen it happen before. You probably haven't seen it happen in the extreme way you want it yet. So you're kind of waiting. Maybe you're in still like this waiting state. But just like my clients was, girl, if you're watching, by the way, girls, if you're watching, by the way, one of my clients out of the two, we were talking and she was like, Ani, now I get it. She's like, now I get it. Every single video I would watch of yours, and every time you would say, you don't have to believe it. You don't have to feel it real. But it can happen. It will happen. Even if you don't force the feeling, even if you don't force the visualization, even if you're not in a positive state of mind, it can happen. It will push out. Not it can happen. It will happen. Don't force yourself to feel things real, you guys. Don't force yourself to. Honestly, I'm someone that had trouble living in the end, but I still got what I wanted every single time. I'm someone that had trouble visualizing, but I still got what I wanted every single time. There's no right or wrong way. Some people do their work through scripting. Some people do their work through embodying. Some people do their work from affirming. Some people do the inner work by listening to sleep affirmations. I help so many clients with EFT tapping to tap out those blocks and limiting beliefs. Everyone, you guys, has a story. Everyone has a way of thinking. And what you do that works for you may not work for your neighbor, but that's fine. Try it all out. See which one resonates, which one feels good. Some people, you know, I work with so many of my clients and they get to a point where they don't even have to do any of it. They don't even have to do techniques because they're so solid now on their self-concept that their brain doesn't even go to the self-sabotaging thoughts anymore. Their brain doesn't even go to that as the first option. The skeptical part of, they're not skeptical anymore so much. They're not walking on eggshells so much anymore. They're not fearing that SP is going to leave them again because they're so calm within now because they've done the consistent work, and those old thought processes and assumptions have now been kind of they're released. They're released out. It's done. You know, the old assumptions die and the new assumptions replace them, or the thought processes or the beliefs, right? For example, you guys have probably heard me talk about third parties so much. I've experienced third parties, and I'll tell you why I experienced third parties, and maybe it'll resonate with you. Maybe you've gone through these thoughts and feelings and emotions too. That's why you manifested third parties. I manifested third parties because I grew up in a very old school way, meaning it was normal for men to have mistresses. It was normal for men around that time. I'm talking as if I was born in the 50s, 60s. I wish. I love that era, but I'm the youngest. So the eldest, the elders are elder. Like how should I say? So I'm young, and sister and brother are like 20 plus years older than me. So my parents are older, but I was raised old school way, the way my parents were raised. Obviously not exactly the same. They were raised in much strict much more disciplined way. But I would see it all the time. I would see it all the time. I remember I was a little girl, and then even in my teenage years, and then especially my adult years, how the women would talk, the men would talk. The men wouldn't talk in front of me. I would always go, you hear things, especially when you're always trying to be people pleaser, right? You're always watching your surroundings and listening to everything. So you're on top of your game and you're 10 steps ahead, because when you're people pleasing and when you're self-sabotaging and when you're always walking on eggshells, you need to know your surroundings. And I would always pay attention, even though I wasn't sitting with them. I would always hear like what the women would talk about, what the men would talk about. And they would talk about it all the time. Like, oh, do you know this person's husband is with this person? This person's wife's with that person. Like, I would always hear it. And it was very normal it was almost like super okay for the men to have third parties all around. Women, not so much. But I grew up hearing these things, even though in my household it wasn't, that lifestyle wasn't appreciated, but it wasn't also like a taboo. Like, it wasn't like, oh my God, this person has a third party. It was kind of like, all right, so what's new? Like, all right, cool. Like, so how's the weather? It was kind of like that. And I would hear that, it would become normal. And then I loved like the movies like Godfather, Goodfellas, Bronx Tale, Casino, and those movies also, like Sopranos, huge fan. And because I liked the alpha males in those movies, like the position they held, the power they had. And in those movies also, it matched my thinking, because in the movies also they had the third parties all the time. Like, it wasn't a normal thing. And you would have to just keep quiet even if you knew about it. You don't leave just because of that, right? So I grew up this way. And it's so funny because my mom or dad didn't even like instill it in me. I just heard stuff and it became normal. That's why your environment matters. Also, even though I would hear those things, I would always say to myself, that's not going to happen to me. Like, no, that's not okay with me. That's not going to happen to me. That's not okay with me. Right? But in my subconscious, because I heard it so much and it was so normal, it was a belief. So regardless of what I would say and like what I would demand, the belief was stronger. That's why we work on staying consistent, you guys, because when it did happen to me, I was literally hurt because it was something I promised I wouldn't deal with, because I'm not okay with it. But the other like half of me was like, but it's a belief and it's a normal thing. Like, you're not the only person that's happened to. Like, it happens all the time, especially with that type of person, that person in power, and person in like that type of lifestyle. It happens. So I was constantly fighting my desires. It was a battle. Like, this is what I want, but this is what I believe. And if you're anything like in that situation, you don't have to be in that exact situation, but if you're anywhere there where it's like you have this desire, but you have these beliefs too that don't match the desire, and you're constantly battling, that battle creates a high volume of resistance. And when you have that high volume of resistance, things take longer to come in, or things kind of are prolonged to come in until you lower the volume of that resistance and you stop battling it. And how that looks, you guys, is resentment, checking 3D constantly, wondering what's so good about the other person that they don't choose me. It comes in so many forms, but at the end of the day, it's a battle. You're battling with yourself. There's resistance, there's resentment, there's jealousy, there's obsession, it's pretty much a not calm nervous system. And you need the nervous system to be clear and calm in order for things to happen fast. So that's why I'm talking about this, because you will be surprised how often this comes up. And it's not just about third parties. You can have that battle within you, even if there's no third party. You can have the battle of your wants and your needs, but your beliefs not matching. You can want a lot of money, and you can be wanting to go. I wanted that lifestyle before I had it. Traveling on jets, being able to spend like thousands and thousands of dollars and it being nothing, because I know there's more to come. Nice cars, nice hotels, luxury lifestyle. When I didn't have that and I wanted it, my wants and my beliefs had to match. So right now, you may really, 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 really want something, but you have beliefs that are dominantly playing in the background that are trying to convince you that, no, it's not going to work. And that's literally like teeter-totter. It's like you don't know which way. Like you want to stay that way, but you have something bringing it back up. You know, you want to stay down over here, but you have something bringing it back up. You want to come to here. My arms look different colors, but that's because the light's on this side. So when you calm that down within, and how you do it is you need either a routine, you need either, like I mentioned, whichever one resonates with you, you guys. If you need extra help, courses are there for you not to even wonder what to do. It's there. It's right there. If you need to talk about it, if you want to get to the bottom of your beliefs and break those, we could do that too. Or even if just this video helps, even more amazing. But what you want to do is you want to get to that middle, that calm, that neutral. When you get to that neutral, everything you've been working on, that person now will conform to show it. They've been trying to conform, but because you've been standing in your own way, battling your own self and your own beliefs versus your desires, they're kind of like this. I'm not coming in until you calm down, girl. Literally. But they don't know what's going on. They just get these instincts to make moves, to make efforts, because your resistance is now lower. So that's exactly what like my clients were explaining. They were like, Ani, when we like told SP like, hey, you know, like I'm pregnant or whatever, they burst into tears of happiness. And that's something I was very unsure about before. But the moment I was okay within my internal, it gave them a chance to show me fully that vulnerability, because I was okay with my vulnerability. And that's why, you guys, when you feel off, it's so important to come back to neutral. I say this all the time, and it sounds so easy, but it's not when you're constantly in your own way. So when you're constantly listening to the self-sabotaging voice and you're not bringing more of the dominant, I'm in control. Hey, shut up. I'm in control. You need to stop, because you're just talking from past habit. I know better now. So this one's stronger. The belief is stronger in me that I can get what I want, because none of this matters anyway. This 3D stuff doesn't matter. It's old stuff. What I've been focusing on recently, now I need to allow it to come in. How do I allow it to come in? By not constantly battling within all the time. That chaos needs to become clarity. When it does, and it doesn't even have to be, the chaos doesn't even have to become clarity for a long time. You may have an hour of calm throughout your day, and then boom, that in that hour, everything comes in. Because the universe is like, you guys just calm. Roll it in. Like, now, do it now. You know, like, how many times have you calmed down and or went and done something else, and then you got your manifestation? That's why my client was like, Ani, when you were saying you don't have to believe it, I believe you now. I believe you. When you were saying it in the videos that you don't have to believe it or you don't have to be positive all the time, now I believe you. And she says that because she had many, many, many moments of doubt and fears, but it didn't even play a part, those doubts and fears. It didn't create the opposite. It didn't even play a part. She thought it would. I'm like, I can't think that. I can't do that. I can't do, like, she walking on eggshells. But then she would always come back to her neutral. She would always come back to, I know things are possible. I know they are. I know anything is possible, you know, but I'm not going to fight myself right now about it. I choose my peace right now over anything else. And then every time she chose peace, evidence came in. Every time she chose peace, evidence came in, and then the big evidence came in. I hope this video helped you guys. If it did, comment down below. If you are interested in self-concept course, remove third-party course, master your mind, manifest your SP now course, links are going to be in the description box down below. I really intend you have an amazing, amazing day today and an amazing weekend. And whatever happens, understand that it's not final. Whatever happens, understand it's not final. If it happens not in your favor, it's not final. And if you start seeing things happening and you feel like it's a sign or it's birds before land, trust it. Trust it. Don't self-sabotage it and talk down on it. Don't, like, convince yourself that that was a coincidence and it's no. Just like every other success story, you are not an exception. You can also be a success story. Like, there's nowhere in the books or in the world that says everyone could be a success story but you. That's false. Okay, I love you guys. Contest is still going. We'll mention it soon. Win a free 1-hour coaching session with me. All you got to do is there's a free course in the description box. Just sign up for it, put your email in, and you're automatically entered. Okay? All right, you guys, I love you. Let me know if this video resonated with you, and I'll see you next Friday.